All right, so I just bought this property behind me for $150,000, didn't use any of my own money to buy it, any of my own money to rehab it, and I'm going to make 75 to 100,000 bucks in just a few short months. All right, so you guys may see blue shutters, ugly windows, rotted wood, grown up yard, but I see money. These are the types of properties I buy, and I usually do it without using any of my own money. That's what we're doing with this house behind me. I closed on it for $150,000. I'm not gonna have to come out of pocket anything. That includes the purchase and the rehab. And the beautiful thing is, in just a few short months, we're gonna make somewhere between $75,000 and $100,000 after we totally renovate the property and get it sold. All right, so you're probably wondering, how in the world, dude, are you buying this property without using any of your own money? And you're not just buying the property without your money, you're rehabbing it without your money. Well, let me tell you how. Believe it or not, it's not rocket science. I actually found this deal listed on Zillow. It had been listed for over 30 days. Nobody bid on it. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna shoot my shot. This person wants to sell this home for whatever reason, but they're not able to get it under contract. Maybe I can offer a little bit less depending on what market values are and see if I can make this deal work. Now, my thought process is I want to turn every property into a rental. But when I ran my numbers on this deal, it didn't make sense as a traditional purchase for a rental property, which just means if I would have put 20% down and done the rehab myself, the numbers were terrible. It was like a 50 bucks a month in cash flow and like a 2% or 1% cash on cash return. I don't want to do that. And then when I tried to execute the BRRRR method, which is just buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, and get into this property and have it as a rental without having to use any of my own money, it definitely wasn't going to make sense. I was going to lose hundreds of bucks of cash flow per month, cash on cash return, not going to be great. And so I said, okay, my number one strategy doesn't work. What can I do with this property? Well, when I ran the numbers as a flip, it hit the jackpot. So I told you we purchased this property for $150,000. I actually think it was like $148,000 bucks. So let me break down how I knew it was a good deal as a flip. So the formula we use to know if a flip is going to be a good deal or not goes like this. Now don't get scared away. It's going to sound like algebra, but I promise you, if I can do this formula, you can do this formula. So we're going to take ARV, which stands for after repair value. We're going to multiply it by 70%. And then we're going to subtract our rehab cost, and that tells us what we need to purchase the property at. So we got to start with what is the ARV or the after repair value of this home going to be, okay? So we look at it in its current condition and say, after we've rehabbed it, we've made it pretty, what does the market say this home will be worth? Well, the way we do that is by looking at recently sold comps, comparable homes in the area. So, for example, this home is a 3-bed, 2-bath. It's got 1,628 square foot of living space. And so what I did is I simply went on Zillow, changed the filter to sold homes, changed the beds to 3, the baths to 2, and changed the square footage from like 1,200 to 1,800, and I gave it that range. And so what Zillow did is it brought up a list of homes that have sold in the last 90 days with this criteria. And so then what I'll do is I will look at those homes, look at the condition they're in, see the ones that have been renovated and flipped, and look and say, what are they selling for price per square foot? So when I looked at a couple of the different comps, I felt like properties in this area with this size, this bed and bath, were selling somewhere $178 a square foot to a little over $180 a square foot, okay? So what that tells me is, after I renovate this particular home, it should sell for, on the low end, 178 bucks a square foot. So I mentioned there's 1,628 square feet in this home. So when I type it in the calculator, the square footage, and multiply that times 178, because we said that homes were selling for $178 per square foot, that tells me that this home's going to be able to sell for somewhere around $289,000 to $300,000. And so when we take that number, just say we take 289,000, we plug it into our formula, we go 289,000 and we multiply that by 70%. When I take out my calculator, that gives us 202,000, okay? So that's part of our formula that's done. Next, we have to say, what are the rehab costs going to be? Now, the best way to do this is to have contractors go out and give you quotes so you can have a good understanding of what your rehab estimate's going to be. Look, I've never done a flip. I've never renovated a rental where the rehab estimate is exact. Just not going to happen. But if we can get to within a $5,000 to $10,000 ballpark of what it's gonna cost to get the property set up, that gives us a good idea and allows us to make a smart offer so that we know we have plenty of profit left over. So when I took the ARV, which was $289,000, multiplied it by 70%, we got $202,000. Now we need to subtract what our estimated rehab costs would be for this home. So when I had a contractor come out and look at it, they told me it's gonna be about $50,000. So I'm gonna take the $202,000, subtract $50,000, and that tells me I need to buy this home for $152,000 to have meat on the bone to make a good profit. Well, guess what? I bought it for $148,000. So I did even better than what the formula tells me to do, and that means we're gonna have a lot of wiggle room to make a lot of money on this house. My wife's supposed to have this kitchen done. When are you gonna get this kitchen done?
Honey, you just gave me money yesterday.
No, don't blame it on me. You had a month to order this kitchen. Let's get it moving. Losing money every day. All right, so when the kitchen actually gets done, when my helpers get their act together, this is what we're gonna do. So we tore this entire kitchen out, ugly cabinets here, outdated, terrible looking countertop, and we felt it was just best to rip it all out and start new. So the new kitchen cabinets that we're putting in are only gonna cost around $6,000. Now I know I say only, but I've been quoted worse and had to pay worse for kitchens. So we're getting a pretty good deal there. And we're probably looking at another $2,000 in countertop space. And then we will obviously add some backsplash and can lights underneath as well. Now, cool thing we did in here to really maximize the space is the fridge used to be right here, okay? So you guys stay with me because we got a lot going on. Fridge used to be right here. If you look over on this wall, there used to be a door here that led to a bedroom, all right? We closed that off. Now, before we closed it off, these studs obviously weren't here, and this wall right here wasn't here. But what we decided to do is close that door off, there's no point for it, extend this wall out to match that existing wall, and then that allowed us to now create a pantry. So this kitchen didn't have a pantry before. Well, now we've just added a ton of value to this kitchen very easily by literally just studding out this side of the wall. Gonna put the pantry here. Cool thing is too, told you the fridge used to be over there. Now the fridge is going to be right here. So we left enough space when we measured between these studs and this wall to say, okay, I think we needed 38 inches, 40 inches or so to be able to fit a fridge there. And you're probably saying, well, what's the point of moving it? More countertop space. Fridge here allows us to do countertops all the way to where the fridge used to be. Quite frankly, who doesn't love more countertops? Hey, when you gonna have me a quote for these windows at Edgewood?
That's what I was telling you earlier.
No, you told me you were gonna have it 2 weeks ago.
No, I did. Did I really?
Yeah, you really did.
I'll measure them, and while I'm at the beach, I'll get the quote to you.
The beach? You were just at the beach last week.
No, that was that was just chilling.
Keep losing me money, thank you.
Whatever.
So this is one of the bathrooms in the house. You can see we had some dry rot here. So we had to pull the baseboards out. We're gonna have to put new ones down. And we're waiting on the tile to be ordered, but you heard my contractor say he's going to the beach. The guy freaking lives at the beach. So I'm at the mercy of my team. And right now, my team's moving slow. All right, sorry Garcias. I thought that we would have more content on this house. I thought there was more that was getting done, but y'all better not post that. I'm in big trouble. All right, so there's one thing that I really don't like about this house, and it's the layout. Now, I love the location, and we're gonna make this house look really good, so it's gonna sell either way. But to get back to that kitchen that we showed you, you have to walk all the way around back through the house. That's why they used to have this door here, so you could cut through. Even then, it's kind of weird, because you have 3 bedrooms on this side of the house. Like, are the other family members who live in the other 2 bedrooms gonna walk through this bedroom to get to the living room and kitchen? Like, it was an awkward flow anyway, and we were able to add the pantry and fridge on this wall right here, so I think it's worth it. But we really struggled with how do we go with the layout of this house. If we would have had a bigger budget and had a little more breathing room in this deal, we would have rearranged where the rooms are. But because that would have caused us to have to knock out walls and add headers and move plumbing around and run HVAC to new places potentially, we didn't want to go down that route. and spend too much money on this property. So whoever buys it isn't gonna have the best layout possible, but we're gonna hook them up with a lot of cool other things. All right, so one thing that's gonna cost us a lot is you see, like we got hardwoods here, but they're all scuffed up. Like they're not in good shape, okay? And there's not hardwoods on this side of the house. So we had to make a decision, like, are we going to do hardwoods all the way through? Are we gonna put fake flooring over the top? And because we're flipping it, we're gonna do hardwoods throughout. And so it'd have been nice if we could have just laid hardwood on top of this subfloor and tried to stain it to match the existing hardwood, but the existing hardwood floors are in such bad shape that we are not only gonna have to lay down new hardwood on this entire side of the house, but then we're gonna have to sand all the existing hardwoods and then restain the entire house, and I just about fell down the vent, restain the entire house to match. And so probably go with dark wood like we did in our Springdale home. If you haven't seen that flip, it's right here.
Can you try to make less noise with your boots?
Less noise? I got cowboy boots on. How am I supposed to make less noise with my shoes? We're here to do-si-do, you know? It's like, woo! Oh, shoot, this is stupid. All right, if I'm doing the Cotton Eye Joe dance, it's probably about time to wrap this thing up. You smell that? Yeah. What is that? Like something, it smells like a bonfire in this room. All right, anyways, we'll get that checked out. So there used to be a door here. This is the laundry room. Used to go outside. It was an unneeded door. We got like 3 or 4 other doors in the house. Close that in, gives us more room here in this laundry room. This water heater has been a pain in my rear. So we wanted to move it, got a quote for $8,500. You're telling me it costs $8,500 to move that underneath the house or to a different room? No shot. People are nuts. So we're gonna get a couple different quotes, but if it's gonna cost too much to move that, because what we were gonna do is we were gonna move this water heater, and then we were going to build out shelves here, and then we're gonna do stackable washer and dryer units in this corner, right? Because the laundry used to be right here behind where the camera's at. We wanted to move it over here and then extend the shower and the bathroom out. And this is hurting us to be able to do that. So what we may just have to do is build new cabinets around the hot water heater, keep the laundry where it was, and then do the best we can in this bathroom. So it's gonna be a full bath. We'll probably tile this shower, we'll tile the floor, nice vanity, nice toilet. And if you've seen some of my other flips, some of my contractors bought too big of vanities where we could hardly shut the door. I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen this time. I'm about to stay on them. But why is there's literally, somebody just had a fire in the fireplace. So either my contractor, Landon, has been hanging out here, having fires, but I know he hasn't been hanging out here because he's always at the beach, or we have a homeless person. Hey, did you have a fire in here?
No.
Bro, and somebody's been sleeping in here.
How do you know they've been sleeping in there?
I don't know, but why else would you have a fire going? It's July in South Carolina.
Oh, what I was thinking was...
Bro, I think you and your new little girlfriend have been coming over here and having little kissing sessions by the bonfire.
Is all my stuff still there?
Yeah, all your stuff's still here. Is this all your Diet Cokes?
How many are there?
Too many to count.
Yeah, those are mine.
Yeah, Diet Coke. You're like an old man. All right, so good to know we don't have somebody living here. I don't want to speak out of turn because my wife normally handles the design stuff, but I have a feeling we'll probably paint this fireplace something. Like it probably won't stay brick. We'll probably go with black or maybe white. I don't know. I don't get to choose those types of things, but we'll doll this up, get rid of that ugly cover that we had on it, put a new one on. May keep this mantle, may not. We kind of like the modern, like thicker mantles. They look good. People like them. They're in style. So we'll see what we do, but it's going to be cool to see this space transform here over the next few months. Like how much is she charging per hour to clean this jungle up? To be honest, I really don't want to bring my lawnmower over here. All right, I'm about to give you guys the quickest tip for exterior, okay? It's very simple and it's an easy way to sell your houses. So number one is to redo the windows. They're expensive, but when somebody pulls up and they say new windows, it has just a pop to it. It appeals to the eye, and I think it makes your house more desirable. Second are shutters. If you just replace shutters or paint them, I can't tell you what color to paint them. You gotta have a little bit of style or have somebody help you, but I can tell you, don't paint them baby blue. But if you get rid of that, make them look nice, really helps the curb appeal of the home. And then third is the door. So we have not painted this door yet, But if you make a door like a cute little color, whether it be blue, green, whatever, something that pops, it draws people's attention to your house. And I can tell you, the inside of a home is obviously very important. We got to spend a lot of time taking care of the kitchen, the bathrooms, bedrooms, all that good stuff. But there are people who are buyers who can be brought in, drawn into a home strictly off a curb appeal. And I think a lot of times as investors, we want to neglect how the house looks on the outside because maybe we spent so much energy and emotional energy on the inside. But if we really dial in, she won't stop mowing, what the exterior of our home looks like, I think we can draw more buyers. So obviously right now we have a jungle. Like this is a jungle growing on the house. It looks terrible. That's partly why nobody wanted to buy it. I buy houses that the general population doesn't want to buy. I make them pretty. Then all of a sudden the general population wants to buy them and they make me wealthy by doing it. But within a day, I can have a landscape company out here that will have tore all this out. They have it edged out nicely, mulch in place, flowers planted. We're gonna dig up all these bricks that are janky, get a new walkway coming in, mow the grass, get it looking good. And the one thing that I'm a little nervous about on this house that I haven't like dug into yet, and I'm kind of scared to, is there is a massive tree right above this roof. And I don't think I want to take the entire tree down because I just don't love cutting trees down. And it's a very pretty tree, but we have a ton of branches hanging underneath the house. And so that's something we're going to have to address before we end up putting this property on the market. As you guys can see, this is a work in progress. We got a lot left to do. I'm having to crack the whip on all of my team members, but once we get this project rocking and rolling, get the kitchen start getting installed, the bathrooms start getting installed, the yard cleaned up, this thing's gonna start coming together and it's gonna be a beautiful home. And I think we're gonna be able to get that after repair value of around $300,000. Hit us with a good profit of $75,000 to $100,000. And at the end of the day, when you can buy a deal like this without putting any of your own money in and make that kind of profit, you do that a few times and that can be really life-changing. Although it takes up a little bit of my time, there's some frustrations, some stresses along the way. When you can clear 75K to 100K in 3 to 4 months, I chalk that up as a win. If you want to stay up to date on this particular renovation, plus all the other properties that we're working on, all the podcasts we're doing, all the content we're releasing to teach you how to invest in real estate, then click the subscribe button below. It'll notify you when we release new videos. And if you haven't already, click on these 2 videos, go check them out. They're packed with value to make you a better investor. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time. Woo! Oh, shoot, this is stupid.